GKBarry.
Yes. I've been having 6 BuzzBallz a night for a month.
Okay.
So I have a feeling I've severely aged internally.
In preparation for
this, yes.
Let's find out.
Okay,
Are you ready?
I'm ready.
To reveal the results?
I'm scared.
GKBarry. Grace, your result is... Hello, everyone, and welcome to What's My Age Again, Season 2. I am Katherine Ryan, and this podcast is all about aging. We have so many brilliant guests this season to tell us all about their lives, and of course, they've given us their blood so we can find out how they are aging on the inside. We also have a special bonus episode that drops on a Thursday called Dr. Nichola's Second Opinion. And that bonus episode will answer all of your questions about biological age. Look forward to those weekly. But this time, I am talking to the fantastic GKBarry, or Grace Keeling, for those who know her well. She made her name with brilliant videos on TikTok. She also hosts Saving Grace, her chart-topping podcast, and you might also know her for her time in the jungle on I Am a Celebrity, Get Me Out of Here, and for being the youngest ever panelist on Loose Women. She's 25, but how old is her body? Like every guest, Grace has done a blood test so we can find out her biological age, and our resident scientist, Dr. Nichola Conlon, will be on hand to interpret those results. GKBarry, she's partial to a Jaeger bomb, so will all the partying have played havoc with her body? Let's find out. GKBarry.
Yes.
I never thought we'd get you in this chair.
I'm ready.
You're so beautiful and young.
I know.
The French tips are back.
They are. They're very grown out, though, which isn't good if you're a lesbian, but they are very
Well,
grown out. Yeah.
Of course. You could knuckle it.
Yeah. Yeah.
When did the young people rediscover the 90s French tip?
I don't know. I saw everyone doing it because before it was acrylics, wasn't it? Like the fang nails. And then it just got a bit much. So I think short is back now. I think it's good to be demure at the moment.
You are very demure looking today.
I try. I use my little air wrap as well to give a little blow dry for you today.
Hashtag extra spawn.
Yeah, it wasn't even an air wrap.
Tom, your brand manager will be happy that you got that in.
It wasn't even that.
I'm so fascinated by you, your whole world, how you exploded on socials.
Yeah.
But also you've transitioned, not in the cool way.
No.
But into, like, you're now this big television star.
I know the difference is mad from going from just filming videos in your room to actually being on a set and being told what to do, and you're not really allowed to swear. So that is actually a bit of a struggle for me at the minute.
But you know what? You're 25 years old.
I am.
I anticipate that this is going to be a waste of everyone's time. Your biological age will be low.
You say this though, but I've been having 6 BuzzBallz a night for a month.
Okay.
So I have a feeling I've severely aged internally.
In preparation for
this. Yes. Yeah. I was
6
very nervous.
BuzzBallz.
Yeah.
Difficult to choke them back.
Yeah. Yeah.
Is that because you've been doing a lot of TV work this week? Is it related to stress?
No, I just love BuzzBallz at the minute. Like, do you know what it is? I love a drink. I've grown up in a family that love drink. Like, my mum raised me on Prosecco.
Really?
Not formula, just Prosecco. So that's just a norm to me. But my girlfriend not really in the drinking life.
No.
So I can't really make her transition because obviously she's an athlete. So I just have to do it for both of us.
So you'd be having 3 BuzzBallz if you were with a like-minded woman.
But I have to have 6 to make up for lost time.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Because usually related to longevity and health, one would say that being with an athlete would lower your body. You know, you'd have healthy habits together, but you're just picking up the slack.
Yeah. We do walk sometimes with the dogs. To the food and wine shop.
Tell me about BuzzBallz. I don't think my age group will be aware. I'm aware because I have a teenage daughter.
Let me tell you something. When you pop that child out, the first thing you need to do is have a BuzzBallz. They're these little things like this small. My fake tan hands are really rife right now. Really small, 14%.
Jesus.
And they just make you feel like you could run a marathon if you felt that way.
You've got an extra spawn in there. We've done 2 influencer spawns.
I promise you I'm not meaning to do this. I just love it.
Tell me about, actually, because this is relevant to your world of dominating social media. There's this little blue drink called Fly Free or Free, and people are really talking about it a lot on TikTok. I think it's American.
Is it healthy?
They're addicted. No, it's sort of like in the family of energy drink, but it isn't. It's got this extra thing in it. bit like a BuzzBallz, but it doesn't have alcohol. It's like a whole new thing that people are like losing their relationships over.
Really?
Yeah.
I can't do energy drinks. I will have a panic attack.
Okay.
That I would literally be licking windows.
Fine.
Yeah, there's no way.
Because you've got the natural energy of youth.
Yeah.
Well, how old do you feel, GK?
I would say I feel around the 65 mark.
What?
I feel very creaky. I feel constantly, like when I get off the couch, I do the, ugh.
No, you don't.
Yeah. Everything's a chore.
Okay.
I don't really feel like I've ever had that energy, apart from when I was like a wee lamb. But I don't feel like I've picked up on that in my adult life. And I think having 2 dogs has really aged me.
The last time I saw you had 1 dog.
Yeah.
What was the decision to go from 1 to 2?
He was like his mum and very anxious.
Okay.
So we thought, let's get him a girlfriend / sister.
Yeah.
Don't know which way it's going to go. It's legal somewhere.
Yeah.
And it's made him a lot better. But they just, he's constantly trying to fuck her head, to be honest with you, Katherine.
Okay.
And
So
it's a lot.
You're a busy mom.
Yeah.
You drink a lot. And you feel old.
Yeah, so this is going really well. But hopefully I take vitamins.
Okay.
So I'm hoping, technically, I'm quite youthful.
I would be very surprised if you weren't.
Really?
I think you sell yourself short. Do you prefer to be called Grace in this context or
yeah.
GK?
Grace is good.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. So you're GKBarry all at once, but man to man, Grace.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, Grace. I had a little foray into influencing. I did a junket where I had to interview some celebrities. I was sent the raw footage.
How awful is that?
It was awful.
Yeah.
It was an honor. But when I received all the raw footage and I went, what? I'm supposed to make content from this? I'm 42 years old.
Yeah.
And I panicked. I was able to do it.
But panic set in.
But it is hard work.
Also, it's pretty long when you have to edit stuff down that's so like genuinely, I'm like, do people even care about what I'm saying?
It was different shots.
Yeah.
It was different audio.
You had to sync.
Oh my days. And so I think that for you to come out of absolute obscurity, no offense.
Absolutely.
And create this entire persona, this like enterprise, let's call it. And now you're on television and now everybody loves you. Like that is hard work.
Yeah. And I feel like it's hard separating the online personality of what people know me as.
Okay.
Because in person, I just am not like that. So when I go out and people see me, I have to turn on a little button and act as if I'm like Danny Dyer.
So,
it's a lot.
So you think your social battery
I don't have one.
is used up for your work.
Yeah.
And then in real life, you're very different.
Yeah. Like Ella will watch me film videos. Like last night I was redoing it. I was like, guys. And I was giving myself the ick because I thought I don't even talk like that.
You could rebrand.
I could. Maybe I'll just go really posh.
Where are you from?
Cambridge.
Wow.
Thank you.
They have people from Cambridge who are not posh?
Yeah. Well, I'm from the outskirts of Cambridge,
Fine.
but I did go to college in Cambridge, but it was like one that's named Reject College, which is fine. It's still in Cambridge.
That's fine.
So I'm still classing it, Katherine.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so you identify as not posh.
Yeah. Although, I don't know. I think I'm quite well spoken.
You are.
Yeah. But I wouldn't say I'm posh. I wouldn't like to be posh.
No one, especially the posh people, they don't like for you to call them posh.
Yeah.
You'll
like
suggest, oh, you had a different life because you went to private school. And they go, no, I didn't. Like they get really weird about it.
Although I would love to have that life. I would embrace that. Yeah. My dad went to, like my real dad, he was like, do you want to go to like a private school for secondary school? And I went to go and view it. And all the girls had long, down to their ankles, long green skirts. And I thought, fuck that.
So based on the skirts.
Yeah. I thought I can't yank that up without it looking like I've got a tie around me. So I thought, no, public school it is.
Okay. So you made educational, your academic trajectory was based solely on fashion.
Yeah. And I also thought I probably wouldn't have been funny if I went to a private school.
No.
Yeah.
I think they get the funny straight out of you.
Yeah.
You just become a bully.
And I don't have the facilities for that at the minute.
Let's talk about your real dad.
Yeah.
So this is part of a biological age test to find out how old you are on the inside. So genetics are very relevant. Some of it's going to be lifestyle, which you've established is
non-existent.
Grim.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Although you have pets.
I do.
That has a healthy impact on the microbiome.
Does it?
Yeah, you've got some good points and bad points lifestyle-wise, I would
Thank you
say,
very
Grace.
much.
Yes. But you were raised by your stepdad.
Yeah.
Andy, is that his name?
Yeah.
Sounds hot.
Thank you. I'll let him know.
How old are your parents?
So my real dad is 78.
What?
Yeah, I was an accident, and that's okay.
And your mother?
My mum is like 65.
Oh, thank God.
Yeah, he had money, and that's good.
Yeah, but that's not a huge gap in that time frame.
Yeah.
Because your mother's quite famous now. You incorporate her in a lot of your videos. She looks vivacious.
It. Yeah, she loves it. She's been on Loose Women, and she is like, literally can't go to Tesco anymore.
No.
And I was like,
okay,
home
so
delivery is.
She's also old.
Yeah.
But she looks great.
She does.
She was with your dad when he was extra old.
Yeah.
And he's how healthy now? You do have a relationship with him?
He's so healthy. Like he just went walking in Austria for like 8 hours a day. He's like proper into his walking.
Okay.
Yeah, which I didn't get that gene. I got his toes, but I didn't get anything else.
Yeah, but at 78, you might find yourself fancying, come on, Ella, let's go for an 8-hour walk in Austria. Like your interests do change.
They do.
Okay.
Maybe.
So how long was he in your life when you were a baby?
Till I was like 2.
Okay.
And then my stepdad came along, and then he sort of raised me from there. But everyone in my family is very get up and go.
Yeah.
They're never really sat down. And if they are, it's to drink.
BuzzBallz.
BuzzBallz, yeah.
The beauty of a BuzzBallz, it feels like a to-go drink.
Exactly. You can do it on the go.
Yeah.
But yeah, everyone in my family is very like fit.
Okay.
So
and
that's good.
What is your mother doing health-wise to look so beautiful and young, to have all these men on the roster?
Of course.
We got the Austrian real dad. We've got young hot Andy.
She goes to the gym. She's got her own little personal trainer.
Since becoming famous or before?
Since.
Yeah.
Well, it was my brother's wedding, and she said, I don't want to look like a bit of strung beef in that dress. So she got a trainer, and she's kept with it, and she looks great. So good for her.
But she raised you on Prosecco.
Yeah, and I think that's how she got to raising me.
She
wouldn't have survived otherwise.
And how many siblings do you have?
I've got one brother, Ollie, who's like 40. And then on my dad's side, I've got 2 sisters. They're like 50.
Oh my gosh.
I know, such an age gap.
This is why, Grace, you identify as sedentary, because you're the baby. You know, you're very, very successful. Presumably, are you like the daddy of your family? Are you the most successful person of anyone in your family?
Yeah, but I'd say my brother's close.
Is he?
Yeah.
What does he do?
He directs adverts. So, you know, the new Adidas and Oasis collab?
Yeah.
He produced that commercial.
Oh, cool.
So I'd say he's like behind the scenes.
Yes.
Successful.
All right.
So yeah, I'd say we're both. My mum's genes did absolute wonders there, I will say.
Great.
Yeah.
And nobody is sick with any hereditary weird stuff. They're just killing it.
Not yet. And we have like people in my family live too long. Like my nan died at like 98, and we were going, come on now. It's time. Like she was like a speck of dust.
Wow.
Yeah. So that is unfortunate that we live very, very old.
I think it's fun. And I think young people like you are meant to live to be at least 120.
I would like to opt out of that.
Really?
Yeah, because I don't want to be wearing nappies.
No.
With my posture, I will be hunched. So I just think it's not a good look for me to live to 120.
What age would you like to check out, ideally?
35, I reckon.
Yeah, that shows how young you are, though. Because young people think, I don't want to be in nappies, therefore
35.
36. Yeah.
I think 35's kind of like, I reckon I would have been at the peak of my career by like 30. Then I can enjoy 5 years of freedom with Ella. And then I'm all right to go.
Let's talk about Ella.
Yeah.
I met Ella.
Yeah.
I like Ella.
Thank God.
She seems a bit more low key.
Yeah.
Than certainly your TV persona.
Yes.
And she's an athlete.
Love it.
It troubles me that you're like, you describe Ella as your one true love. You're in love.
Yeah.
And you only want to be with Ella forever?
I would literally rather someone run over my breasts with a lorry than get with anyone else, genuinely. And also she has seen such disgusting sides of me that I wouldn't be able to show anyone else that.
You're so young, though, to be that much in love. Like, no wonder you want to die at 35. You could be in a relationship for that long.
Yeah, she is, yeah, she's just my person. I look at other people, not in that way, but I just think, absolutely not.
No.
No, thank you.
And how did you meet?
It was a mutual friend. So I said on my podcast, I had Ella on.
Yes.
And I said, to be honest with you, I hate men. I'm really sick of them. And now I want a female footballer. I've never watched football in my life, and I don't know why I said that. But it was just word vomit. And then my mutual friend was like, I went on a cruise with this girl, and I think you'd really fancy her.
Yeah.
So I thought, well, so I got her Instagram, followed her, saw her calves and arse, and thought, yeah, this is for me. And then she messaged me, and then we just moved in after the first date.
Very queer.
Very gay.
So hang on, you were dating men? I didn't know this about you.
Yeah, prior to that, I was dating.
So sorry.
I know, it was an awful time, to be honest with you. It was awful.
That might impact the test, actually.
Yeah, it's going to age me more.
Yeah.
Yeah, I bet.
Where were you finding these men?
Hostels, actually.
Oh, that's where
yeah, that's not even a lie. So, yeah.
You were dating boys.
I know, it's awful.
I really read you as like gold star.
Really?
Yeah, I didn't think that you'd succumb to the same stupidity as the Reddit.
I know. And the men that I would date were just like such bums. I don't know what was going on there. Yeah.
And if only all of us could just make that choice. You've been so wise, so young, Grace, as to go, men, not worth it.
Yeah. Minge, absolutely.
Because do you know, men, when they are married to women, when they partner in heteronormative relationships, they live longer. Their biological age decreases. Women somehow keep them alive.
Well, yeah.
And the women shrink themselves to accommodate for that space.
Yeah.
They sacrifice. They do too much, and they just shrivel up and die.
Yeah. And that's why I thought, no.
Good for you.
I can't shrivel up and die.
I would not normally ask a 25-year-old woman, barely, by the way.
Barely.
Because I think your frontal lobe is still developing this year.
I don't have one.
No?
I can't argue with people.
Okay.
I can't say my mind. I can't do anything. I have to get Ella to do it for me, or Tom.
Okay.
Yeah.
How old's Ella?
Ella's 25. Yeah, 25.
Fine.
Yes.
Okay. So you're just two fun gals.
At 25.
With two dogs.
Yeah.
Living it up.
Yeah.
Drinking BuzzBallz.
Absolutely.
I wouldn't normally ask a young woman of your age about children, but you speak a lot about your life and your future and the things that you're into on your podcast and in all your videos. I know that you would like to have children. You've spoken about doing that with Ella.
Maybe.
Oh, you've pulled back.
The thing is
it seeing me now?
No.
Imagining the state of my pelvic floor.
I just saw this and thought, it's not for me.
Okay.
I just think, like, since we have friends and stuff with kids, or we know people with kids, and it just looks like a big faff. I love the fact that if we want to go do something, we could just be cool aunts.
Yeah.
Why don't we just go on a yacht and just shake ass? Like, we can do whatever we want to do. And also, like, they don't just leave when they're 18. Like, you have to look after them until you die. And I wouldn't know what to talk to a kid about. I wouldn't know how to look after them. I've never had kids in my life, so I don't know what to do with them. Ella's amazing with kids, but they are so, I don't see them as humans. They scare me a bit.
I love that. It's really terrifying to hear it in such succinct and meaningful sound bites. You have to look after them until you die. That's exactly it.
Yeah, it's scary. You have to keep them alive.
But that's just 10 years for you.
Yeah. Yeah, that is true. Maybe I will. But then they won't have a mother. But I think, like having dogs, like we just got Noodle's balls off, and that was like so stressful. And obviously you don't get kids' balls off, but I just think if they ever broke their arm or something, I wouldn't be able to cope.
Okay.
So
I think, you're reading a lot into it.
I'm very much so, yeah.
But I think, it was a compelling argument. You had me at shaking ass on a yacht. I can't just pick up and go shake ass on a yacht tomorrow like you could.
Yeah, until they're all 18, then you probably can.
Yeah.
But until then.
So until you got the two dogs, you were kind of thinking, oh, maybe I'd like to be a mom.
I was thinking maybe we could, because I think I kind of have this dream in my head that I rock up in a pink Range Rover.
Yes.
School drop off.
Another hashtag spawn.
Yeah. Sponsor me, please. I'm in gym gear because I've just done Pilates in the morning.
Ooh.
green juice, drop my kids off. All of the other mums, mingers. Me, not.
Hot.
Yeah? Drop them off, go and do a bit of work, pick them up. Like, I just see this for me.
Yeah.
But it's not like that, is it? I'll be the one in a dressing gown, probably.
I think to be that mom, so I've seen these moms. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
You would need to be a mom now.
Oh.
Because moms are old. You'd be seeing me on the school run.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? Straddling childbirth and menopause.
Okay.
Not giving it the big effort, but you do see the young, hot moms.
Yeah.
You do see that. Or if Ella's athletic career really takes off.
Yeah.
And then you get to be like a kept wag.
I love that.
You could retire from this. You could get in the athleisure wear. You could really hone in on the Pilates. You and I have discussed breast implants.
Yes, I could get that done with immediate effect.
And then you could be any age you like on that school run.
That's true. And I could also get a facelift, as we discussed.
Yeah, we discussed, I think, the aesthetic side of aging. I think when people first come across this podcast, they do assume that it's going to be like how to stay young, how to look young, how to be hot. And I think it's really refreshing that you are such a multi-layered comedic talent. You were, and I'm a celebrity. You captivated the nation. You made friends with an old priest.
He was also gay.
It was also
I only make friends with gay people.
I love when my friend said, if God didn't want us to be gay, he wouldn't have put the prostate there.
Oh, so good.
Really religious.
Yeah. I think that was in the Bible,
Well,
actually.
I think
yeah,
so.
I remember it.
But where was I going with this? Oh, yes. Biological age is a lot about how you feel and like vitality and avoiding age-related disease. So when you think of aging at 25, do you girls think about it from a place of wellness? Or are you not even there yet? Are you just thinking like maybe Botox in the future, maybe skincare?
I do a bit of both, but the thing is with me is I don't feel like I'm scared to age because I think it's quite nice. Like I don't mind. I say this, watch me get to 50 and be like, fuck this. But I don't really have a problem with how I look, but I have such bad health anxiety that the thought of being ill or getting something when I'm older, even a heart attack, do you know they have to take off your bra while giving you CPR?
I hoped they would.
But like, imagine you have it in the street somewhere and I'm just nipples out, like Oxford Circus getting CPR. That gives me fear.
That's
like,
something you think about
all the time, more than the average person, I would say.
God.
Yeah, but I just think disease, arthritis, deep vein thrombosis, like I think of it all and it terrifies me. That's the part of aging that I don't like.
Right. So that is what this podcast is all about.
Right.
Is vitality, like wellness and youth from the inside. So are you doing anything to stave that off? Or do you have an age where you think it's going to become relevant to you?
I'm the type of person that will do everything horrific. So I'm like, it's fine, I'm young. And then we'll deal with the consequences after. But I probably should do some preventatives. I do take vitamins.
What vitamins are you taking?
You know the Heights, it's not a sponsor. You know the Heights ones? Have you heard of them? Heights vitamins?
No.
They're really good, I think.
But what kind of vitamins?
So I do like the multivitamin, bit of cod liver, probiotics, and the magnesium.
Very good.
Yeah, that's what I take.
Oh.
Yeah.
All right. And how's your sleep?
Since getting the dog's not great.
No.
But I do have an Aura ring.
Oh, good.
Again, but I track my sleep and I always get like 8 hours.
Do you?
Or like non-stop.
Okay.
So I don't have an issue with sleep.
And when you were younger in college in Cambridge, pre-Ella, you're still entertaining the male suitors who will do nothing but age you. What was the lifestyle like then? Were you on the Jager bombs and the partying?
I think I was quite tame up until uni. Like I'd go out every weekend in Cambridge and get pissed. But like uni was when I would drink I still do. I would drink every single day.
Every day.
And the sleep would be, because you know when you drink, your sleep isn't the same. It's not really sleep. So I would, be constantly on the verge of death every morning. Loved it though. And I'd also just eat pot noodles. I wouldn't eat food with any substance.
Okay.
So yeah, that was how I was living.
I think that's allowed.
I think so too. At that age,
Yeah.
you just do what you want.
And you envisage yourself as potentially this school-run Pilates mom with the green juice. I think that's correct. That's the time for that.
Yeah.
And if partying in Cambridge every night and waking up hungover to a pot noodle, if that gives you mental wellness, then that
who can argue with that? Maybe I'll put a bit of vodka in the green juice and then it's a bit of both.
Yeah.
But probably couldn't drive the Range Rover to the drop-off.
You have a driver.
And that's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about.
What about baby Grace? You came along.
Yeah.
Your parents, was their split tumultuous when you were 2? Obviously, you don't like actively remember.
Thank God I don't remember, but yeah, it was not good.
Okay.
It was not good at all. But I think younger me, I grew up in another country, so I just lived a great life when I was over there.
Where?
Tortola.
What the hell is that?
British Virgin Islands.
Huh?
Yeah, it's where my stepdad's from.
Oh.
So we lived over there, and I think that was probably the healthiest I've ever been. Just eating coconuts and just goat.
This is why you did so well in the jungle.
This is what I'm
I didn't know at all about this part of your life. So, baby Grace.
Yeah.
You think your early infancy was probably, well, maybe it was a little bit stressed. Because if your parents divorced at 2 or split, they probably weren't getting along. I think little baby Grace, being the youngest of the family, being the star, you knew it already. And you thought, there's a lot on my shoulders.
Yeah.
And you're living in Cambridge then?
So I moved back when I was like 7 or 8.
But you were born in England.
Yeah, born there, they went straight over.
And how did your mom meet Andy to move to this mysterious island I've not heard of?
So my dad moved to Virgin Gorda, which is like another island there, to retire.
I see. Yeah, because he's old.
Old as hell. And then my mum met my stepdad. And then we moved to Tortola.
Okay.
Yes.
And so you were living there for about 5 years of your early childhood before coming back.
Yeah.
What was that lifestyle like?
So good. We lived by the sea in this little house. Everyone was so nice. Like, it was just like you'd go to this little bar every night on the top of the hill.
At 5?
Drink driving was legal over there.
You were raised on Prosecco.
I was, yeah. And
Prosecco and coconut.
Yeah, the dream. But yeah, it was just really, really fun. I had my hair in cornrows before that was legal. It was so good.
Cancelled.
Yeah. But
did you go to school there?
Yeah, I went to this like Montessori school, whatever that means.
No, that's good.
So yeah, I think I had my first kiss at that school as well. It's my first lesbian experience I had in the Caribbean as well.
Wow.
At like 3.
At a Montessori in the Caribbean.
Yeah. It turned me.
You went to a Virgin Islands lesbian Montessori.
Yeah.
Seems all pretty straightforward, Grace, to be honest with
you. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. And so you were outside a lot.
Yeah, but then I moved back to the UK and
What
I
was the
sounded
reason
like,
for that?
well, hilarious. We thought my grandparents were going to die.
Okay.
And they lived for another 25 years, which selfish. But we moved back here and I had a Caribbean accent. So I rocked up to Cambridge sounding like Sean Paul. It was
No, you didn't.
not for the weak, is what I will say to you.
Do you have, because you're young enough, there will be video evidence of little baby Grace in the cornrows.
I need to get one. But then when I moved back, I went really posh.
Yeah.
I went really posh. I did like a 180, if that's what it's called.
What?
Yeah.
I did not. I've been like a real fan of your work for a long time. I didn't know about this. I need to Google Tortola.
Yeah.
Because I don't know what it is.
It's tiny.
I'm sorry, Grace. I have to check this out. Tortola. How do you spell it? Tortola, British Virgin Islands. It's true. It is its own island.
Yeah.
What? It's by Puerto Rico?
Is it?
Grace!
I didn't even know that.
You've not been back?
No.
Do you know where it is on a map?
No.
It's by like South America.
Is it?
It's near like San Juan. Have you been to any of these places on holiday? You're very wealthy now.
Never.
Oh my God, you're so cool.
Thank you.
Whoa.
We went back to Trinidad, but never Tortola. Never.
You're basically Nicki Minaj.
Thank you. I have been told that, body-wise and everything.
This is incredible for your biological age. It's got to be good for you to live there.
Surely. You can't be depressed in the Caribbean, I don't think.
Have you and Ella ever thought, because a lot of the work that you do, you could continue remotely. You could get the cornrows again.
I could.
I think the dogs would have a fab time in Tortola.
I don't know if Tortola has a football team. Is what I will say there. We could make one.
Okay.
I don't know. To be fair, we always say we'd like to live somewhere that's not here. But when I'm on holiday, I just think about coming home.
Okay.
I like being at home, so I don't know.
Okay.
That's really British of me, isn't it?
I can't believe it. No, it's not. I think it's nice to have a duality to your life where you have this incredible career. How young were you when you bought your home?
23.
Like, that is
24,
amazing. 23? That's amazing.
Yeah, it is mental.
So you're doing very grown-up things. So even though you're bubbly and you're young and you want to, a quote from you, shake ass on a yacht.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you've lived this double Nicki Minaj lifestyle with the cornrows.
Yeah.
You do have a lot of grounding elements to you. You like to be still. You want to be in this relationship forever. You like to come home. You know, that is very nice.
I do love to be at home.
Did buying a house make you feel old?
No, it just made me feel stressed.
Okay.
Because there's like, people don't tell you that you have to pay to breathe.
Yeah.
And just everything is money.
You just thought it'd be one house, please.
Yeah. And if you don't pay, I got a legal letter because I forgot to pay British Gas. I thought they'd just be like, oh, she'll pay it next month. They don't assume.
And what was the letter? It was threatening.
It was like, if you don't pay £30,
I love your British Gas accent. Listen, yeah. If you don't pay the £30,
we will take you to court. And I was like, shit, like I don't have an outfit for court. So I paid it. But now I've got the app, so it tells me. But it's just a fucking nightmare, to be honest.
British Gas, #spawn.
Yeah, do not sponsor me. We're enemies.
Don't worry. It is complex. I've had bailiffs at the door.
Incredible.
Because even though I'm quite wealthy, just hanging on with all these kids. But there was a time when I was wealthy like you.
Yeah.
I have a flat where I pay the council tax for them just because it's easier and I just don't mind paying it for them. I'm very left-wing to also be a landlord.
Yeah.
But apparently that's not allowed. You're not allowed to pay someone else's council tax. And I wasn't getting the letters properly. I didn't pay it because I forgot about it. And if you don't pay council tax, they will send a man.
What are we paying for, though? Do you know what I mean? I don't understand. Like, there was, what's it called? Stamp duty.
Yeah.
What the fuck is that?
See, there's the elderly Grace coming out again. What are we paying for? Didn't have any of these bills in tortilla.
Yeah. I just don't get it. Being an adult is so long.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
I'm worried about your anxiety because you've mentioned it a couple times.
So am I.
You're anxious about the anxiety.
Yeah.
You've got some light financial anxiety.
Yeah.
You have been known to be in debt of over 30 pounds.
Yeah.
You have health anxiety.
Yeah.
Tell me more about that side of you because Dr. Nichola Conlon's going to join us soon and you're not going to like what she has to say about cortisol.
Great. Well, I'm like a ball of anxiety.
A buzzball.
A buzzball of anxiety at all times.
Really?
Over just anything and everything. When I'm on holiday, I couldn't enjoy it because I thought there was going to be a tsunami. Just because we weren't in the UK.
Okay.
Just constantly anxious or like... if I have to think about doing something that's not even about, like even I've got my birthday party on Saturday. I'm anxious about that. It's my birthday party. Do you know what I mean? It's just everything is just anxiety provoking.
Okay. So you're organizing it. You're worried about like the flowers.
I'm not even organising it.
No.
There's nothing. And I check my ring and constantly my heart rate is like 131.
Okay.
Yeah.
What is the resting heart rate supposed to be? I don't even know.
Not that. What's the resting heart rate meant to be?
We'll find out from Dr. Nichola Conlon. Oh, God. So your blood pressure, presumably.
Through the roof.
Through the roof.
Yeah.
Cardiovascular health in the toilet.
Yes.
Well, it's keeping you thin, which is nice.
And that is the only good thing.
Really good.
Yeah.
Okay.
Although I wish I was one of those people that when they're anxious, they can't eat. I can eat at any point of my life. So it's a shame.
All right. When did this anxiety start? Have you always been this way? Or was it when you came back from Tortola.
No, I think I've always been anxious. Like, even as a kid, my mum was like, you were like a mute. Like, you know, when you see new people, you know, when you meet a kid and you're like, hi, and they say, hey, I would not even say hello. I think I've always been very anxious. And obviously school is hell. So then you get more anxiety from that. Do you know the most anxious I've ever been? At my sixth form, we had to get a bus, right? But it was like a sixth form bus, not just like your average number 9. And you had to get on this bus and it smelled of wet dog. And you would have to find somewhere to sit, right?
Yeah.
You can't sit at the top because that's where all the cool people are. And they always would take the piss and throw things at people. So I was like, right, I have to sit at the bottom. But then sometimes there were no seats at the bottom of the bus. So you'd have to stand. And then you'd always think people are looking at you. And that was every day I would cry on that bus. It was awful.
Every day?
Every day, yeah. So
what a
yeah,
terrible
I
return
hope
to the
that.
UK.
And also, I was on the bus and it had 2 bus crashes.
Okay.
What are the chances of that?
And that's where the Oxford Circus heart attack anxiety is
Yeah.
coming from. So you weren't cool in school?
No.
Were you actively bullied or just outcast?
I just think I was so weird. And I was proper try-hardy to fit in.
Yeah.
Like I would also just make up shit to the popular people and be like, oh, I heard that person like said this. So they'd get me in their group and they didn't say it. And then at the end of it, they were like, why did you just lie? And I'm like, I don't know. Yeah, I was just really weird.
And do you think like queerness was circling as an issue that made you feel a bit different, or back then you just
That
thought,
wasn't a thing
not
at
yet?
my school.
No.
No. There was one guy, and he was like, I'm not gay, but he wore crop tops and his favourite artist was Nicki Minaj. So I thought, well, there is some conflict here. And he did turn out to be gay, but he was like horrifically bullied because everyone was like, you are gay. So I think there was one lesbian in my year.
That's crazy that even 25-year-olds didn't grow up in like a super queer positive school community.
No way. There's absolutely no way. No, not at my school, I don't think.
But again, you were from the outskirts.
I was like countryside as well. So like you
Country
either had
school.
webbed feet or like
You weren't cool.
you weren't cool. So that was it.
Sorry, are those
Yeah.
individual toes?
They are
You can't hang
individual.
out with us. And what do they say now? Because presumably it wasn't that long ago. Like you were in school 10 years ago.
Yeah.
And do they follow you? Do they message you, any of these kids? Do they reach out and go, remember how close we were?
Well, some people still follow me, I think. I had one girl, I remember she was a nasty, vicious little ass to me at school. She's in the year above, you know who you are, bitch. And she like shoved me once in the hallway. She was so horrible to me. She once put up a fat fish on Twitter and said, this looks like Grace. And it got loads of likes. Anyway, she messaged me. See the trauma there, I remembered it all.
Yeah.
She messaged me being like, you are smashing it, queen, like doing so well. And I messaged her back saying, thank you.
Oh, no.
I know. I should have been like, you bitch. But I didn't. I don't know why. Now I regret that. But yeah, I think a lot of people I've heard of like their opener if they're flirting with someone is, oh, I was mates with GKBarry. I went to school with GKBarry. I thought, right.
They remember it differently, maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe you were cooler than you thought.
No.
You were shrouded in anxiety.
Yeah. I just couldn't see it. Everyone loved me. Yeah.
Well, everyone loves you now. And I'm just so excited to see, because you plan to peak at 30 in your career.
Yes.
That's 5 more years of just killing it.
Yeah.
You were the youngest ever panelist on Loose Women.
God bless.
You hit it out of the park in the jungle.
Mm.
I know that you've got a new show with a friend of mine that I don't know if we're talking about today or not.
I think everyone knows.
Does it?
Maybe.
Oh.
I had to put a casting thing out on my story. So I guess
fine.
it's
Then
not
everyone knows. Yeah, good. Well, I never know, like, with the timelines of
Yeah.
things. So you're just smashing it in TV. You're doing Am I the Asshole with Jimmy Carr?
Yeah.
And like just so much more. Do you think that there will be a time that you move away from your own self-authored projects and straight into like produced television, or will you continue to tour and balance the two?
Does that mean like I produce some, or like what does that mean?
Do you like someone else producing, or do you...
I like doing telly stuff.
Yeah.
Like I do love doing that.
Okay.
But I think I'll always do social media as well, because that's what like started me off. I think as soon as you stop doing what made you, then people just think you're an asshole, which is fair enough.
Yeah.
So I'll be doing the pod till the day I die.
Fine.
At 35.
Do you know what I worry about with your generation? Because this all looks good to me. We've not yet found the results of your test. We're going to do that next. But, a little bit of drinking, it's fine. You've had a really good life. I did not know that you lived in the Caribbean. That's got to be good. You have a great relationship with your parents. I think it all looks good. It's the anxiety that troubles me. And I think it is symptomatic of your generation. This could hurt you on the test.
Yeah.
Is that because you guys grew up with so much social media, or even your parents having camera phones, things like that, where I didn't have that. No one was watching me. I could make mistakes invisibly. I could fall over.
Yeah.
And what I hear time and time again from people your age is like, oh, what if someone sees me? What if someone sees me with my tits out having a heart attack in Oxford Circus? Not what if I die, but like, what if somebody spots my nips in the street? Like, you guys have this real big brother mentality.
That's a good way of putting it.
You do.
Yeah.
Because I hear it all the time. What if someone sees me? And you kind of are always being watched.
Yeah, but I also think we also all think that people care about. I don't think anyone cares, really. Like, I don't walk, like, if I look like shit, I've never seen someone that's in like a baggy tracksuit and bun and think, the fact they've left the house like that.
Yeah.
I've never done that. But then when it's you, you're like, everyone here is looking at me and thinking that I'm a tramp. So,
well, that's the right mindset.
Maybe we're just self-centered.
No, nobody cares more about your shit than you do. So it's good to know that.
Yeah. Yeah.
So maybe you're not too stressed. Let's find out.
Okay.
Are you ready?
I'm ready
to reveal the results.
I'm scared.
It's time to find out how old you really are, Grace.
Okay.
Dun dun.
This does feel dramatic.
Are you worried? Well,
I'm sweating a bit. Right.
You do have the aforementioned anxiety.
Yeah. I'm living up to it, aren't I?
This test is carried out by a company called Glycanage.
Okay.
What do you think your result is going to be? You are chronologically 25.
Have you had someone on here that's my age before?
No, actually.
You are the youngest Loose Woman panelist and the youngest What's My Age Again panelist.
What's the youngest person that's been here?
Like, Jedward, probably.
And how old were they?
Early 30s.
And how old was their test?
Early 30s.
Right. I think I'll be 18.
Ooh.
Maybe.
Does it even go to 18?
Don't know. Oh.
What's the lowest it can go?
The lowest it can go is 20.
I'm going to be 20. Maybe.
What's the highest it can go?
80.
80's the highest, and I got 77. All right.
Oh my God.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
We are joined by Dr. Nichola Conlon,
a
science woman.
Lovely. Women in STEM.
Yep. She can interpret the results for us. Here we go.
Okay.
Are you ready? GKBarry, Grace. Your result is 20 years old, 5 years younger than your chronological age.
I know. I felt this way. I felt it was going to be that. Is that good or bad?
Of course it's good.
Brilliant news.
Of course it's good.
Right.
It's brilliant. It's a brilliant result.
It's the best result you can have achieved.
Yeah.
How many BuzzBallz did you say you were drinking on the regular?
6.5. Maybe that's like embalming me.
Maybe.
Yeah.
What does the science say about sugary, high alcohol volume, spherical shaped drinks?
Probably not the best.
Right.
I probably can't advocate for that one.
Yeah, that's
but
a shame.
everything else is offsetting it. So great.
Yeah.
So what more can you tell us about Grace's results?
So obviously it's a brilliant result. But what really was interesting to me was that you said you feel like you're 60.
Yeah, I do.
But then you were like, no, but I'm gonna get 20. But you feel like you're 60. So when we do the test, so obviously we're giving you a number, we're giving you an age, but we look at quite a few different little biomarkers.
Okay.
So although you've come back amazing, there are some tiny little red flags.
Okay.
Of maybe that your body is kind of
shutting down.
Not shutting down. I'm not going to say that. But when it's when you're young, you can kind of get away with everything and it doesn't show, and you get up and you drink or whatever and get up in the morning and everything's fine.
Yeah.
But this is when we do start to see that the biological age or things that may start to increase that biological age go up. So I'm not saying it in a bad way at all, But there are a few little things. So I found it interesting when you were saying like, oh, I feel like 60, like my body's creaking and I feel tired. And that's interestingly one of the things I was going to maybe ask, like how do you feel? Because usually the body is the first thing to like say, you know, it will call you out.
Yeah, I'm just constantly knackered.
Are you?
Yeah. Even if I have a Red Bull, I'm still knackered. I just feel a little bit off my nut.
What showed up in the test that made you think Grace might be tired?
It's just some of the things we measure. It's like markers of inflammation in the body. So there's some ones that we look at which suggest that the body is a little bit more inflamed than you would want to see. But obviously your body is then compensating for it.
Right.
And when I looked at your lifestyle questionnaire, and like you've admitted yourself, it's not the best.
Yeah.
But you
That
know
was a
what?
humbling
We've
questionnaire.
all been young. We've all been invincible. We've all done all the things that we're not supposed to do.
Yeah.
But I think the one thing from the lifestyle questionnaire that really did stand out to me, like the bit where you're sort of killing it, was sleep. And again, you brought up sleep, that you actually sleep really well.
Love to sleep.
And, you know, we give a lot of different types of advice, a lot of different lifestyle advice. And if there's one thing, like sleep is just so critically important.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, that's usually a part where a lot of people fail. And I know that you said you do suffer from anxiety and stress. So the fact that you still sleep really well is brilliant.
Thank God.
Because that is probably your secret weapon right now.
Yeah.
Are you sleeping unmedicated? Do you take melatonin?
I'm just in a coma as soon as it reaches 10 p.m.
Yeah. So deep sleep is the time when our body is literally shutting down for the night and going, okay, let's undo any damage. Let's repair things. Let's improve the health of our cells,
So
which is
I'm
what we're measuring.
ruining stuff, but then my body has time to repair it because I'm such a good sleeper.
Yeah, and this is it. Your body is actually very good at repair. In our bodies, especially when we're young, our body has this like amazing ability to regenerate, replace, repair. Like just think of a child, you know, they can fall over, they can injure themselves, they can be ill, then they just bounce back. And that's because our body naturally has inside all of these amazing repair capabilities, and a lot of it does get switched on when you're asleep.
Right.
So I definitely think, like, keep up with the good sleep.
I will.
Like, I'd be interested to know your aura scores and things
REM
like that.
sleep, yeah.
Do you get a lot of deep sleep?
I get like 2 hours 24,
wow.
it says a night.
Is
that good?
That is very good. That is very good.
I was born to sleep.
What about REM? What is your...
My REM, I don't know what that, it's like an hour 50.
They're both very good scores. So for people that don't know, the deep sleep is like usually when your body, usually when you first go to bed, your body kind of goes into this deep state of like, it's shutting everything off, it's restoring, it's repairing, and it's like repair to the cells, repair to the whole body. First, that's normally what happens first. Then you go into REM, which is the rapid eye movement sleep. That's when you dream. And that's when your body your brain is kind of processing everything. It's making memories and things like that.
Do you remember your dreams?
Yeah, sometimes. I have really vivid dreams.
What are they like?
Just mental, like mad dreams. The other day I was picking up dog poo from my carpet and from the grass outside. Then I woke up and thought, I need to do that today.
Your brain's processing.
Yeah, my brain is constantly picking up dog shit.
Okay.
Yeah.
Even in your sleep?
Even in my sleep, yeah.
You know those days you wake up and you think, oh, I haven't slept. Maybe you didn't get any
get any REM.
Speaking of getting deep, how healthy is it not to date men?
I think you've always remembered that stat about how men destroy our biological age.
Well, because that is a stat.
Yeah, no, it is actually a stat that, you know, men benefit from being in a relationship. It helps them live longer.
They don't do anything.
Yeah, and you know, and women don't.
And Grace has very healthy relationships, in love, good parents, good friends.
Yeah, and that's all really important. Like, quality of relationships in our lives are such a determining factor of how well we will live in the future.
Really?
Yeah, and future health. In fact, you know, when you're talking about like you've got a bit of health anxiety about the future and age-related illnesses and things like that, there was a big study done that showed that the number one thing that actually has the biggest impact on the risk of developing or not developing those types of illnesses is having good quality relationships.
Really?
Yeah, above like everything else in terms of lifestyle.
That's mad.
Yeah.
And if one dog is good for your gut microbiome, how good is two?
Yeah, we've been learning about dogs improving your microbiome. So yeah, good gut health.
Do you kiss them on the mouth, Grace?
Yeah. Sorry, guys.
I'll let you comment on that one.
I think that's good.
I think it's disgusting, but I just love them. I don't want to go, no, get off.
Yeah.
Which is disgraceful.
Do you have a favorite?
Yeah.
Original.
Noodle.
Yeah. I thought you'd like Noodle.
Sherry's lovely, but she's still a bit of a bitch at the minute. So I'm just like waiting for her to warm up a little bit.
Okay.
She's like a bat out of hell.
And how good is it? Because Grace was on the fence. And then now you did say that you have to look after children until you're dead. And that is a good point. Do you live longer if you don't have children?
So it's there's a lot about the evolutionary side of this, that it's almost like the purpose. If we have a purpose and we're looking after children, we can live longer. But then also just having a life purpose.
Well, they say when you give up work, you die.
Yeah.
When you retire, they're like dead by the week after.
Having a purpose in the blue zone, so people again that live to great age, having a purpose, and you tend to see that people that are much more elderly actually are still working, or they have they're volunteering, or they have a higher purpose within their family, which is, and just to touch on that, you mentioned that you have very long-lived relatives.
I do.
So whilst we know that genetics plays a smaller role, we do see that ability to reach these older ages actually is genetic as well. So, I mean, I know you say you want to live to 35. We'd love to see you live a lot longer than that.
Yeah, just before 80 will do. Yeah. Really, to be honest.
Well, your biological dad, he retired, went to the beautiful Caribbean.
Yeah.
Now he's walking in Austria. He just won't quit.
I think because he used to smoke loads, and then he gave up. But it hasn't really affected him. So I just think maybe it's just in our genetics and not. I don't want to jinx it, actually.
Is he British, or both your parents have like British ethnicity?
Yeah, like EDL, like British. Okay, like, so British.
Good to know. Yeah. Might be good genetically mixing it up a bit.
Just to confirm, I do not support EDL.
We are EDL. We're just going to use that as the trailer.
As the trailer.
How important is early childhood and getting all this Caribbean fresh air? Grace was saying she was eating coconuts, had a politically contentious hairstyle.
Yeah, we know that like in your early childhood, especially when it comes to things like gut health and exposure to even from when you're born, like if you're born naturally or by cesarean, if you're breastfed, not like all those things can have an impact, and where you live. And I think a lot of it is about then, do you follow through with those types of lifestyle, like you say, living in the Caribbean, out and about all the time, a healthier diet, but then is that something that's carried through to adulthood? Probably not. So yeah, it does, but it's more of a, is it set the lifestyle for the person rather than
when I was growing up, we never had takeaways really.
Yeah,
it would be like once in a blue moon, but it was always like home cooked veg and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So yeah, maybe veg.
Yeah.
So maybe that's making me live longer.
Yeah, I mean, it sets you up, right? And it gives you that great base and that great foundation for a healthier lifestyle. But when it comes to biological age, it is something that can go up and down. So,
I don't like that.
we do see it come back young and then it come back older, and it can be like, take sleep. We've been talking a lot about sleep. Things like jet lag. So if someone who's got a great biological age suddenly starts doing lots of transatlantic flights, it can really mess with their levels of inflammation, which is what we're measuring.
If you tested me when I was in Australia, I would have come back 77 as well.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
But Grace's work commitments and stress and pressures in that area are increasing. And what about if you start getting jobs in America? You could do some transatlantic flights. Are there any coping mechanisms or like different lifestyle changes that you would recommend Grace do now as her career accelerates, especially that we know she's anxious?
Yeah, I think it's really important for you with stress, because I think that's come up quite a lot when you've been chatting, and you know it's an issue. And we know that if you are sort of constantly having any anxiety, your body's releasing cortisol, and cortisol is the stress hormone.
Oh, I thought that was good.
No. Cortisol's like, when they talk about fight or flight,
Right.
Like when you suddenly have that rush of like
constantly in that state.
Yeah.
Right.
And it's a state that our bodies shouldn't be constantly in.
Brilliant.
Like we should only ever be in that state when there's a real threat. But now we've got so much going on that we're getting bombarded with things from every different aspect of lives. You know, just general worry and that general anxiety can mean that it's elevated in your body.
Right.
And when it's elevated, unfortunately, that actually causes inflammation. And inflammation can drive, can drive, you know, internal aging.
Okay.
So my number one tip for you would definitely be to just try and do you do any sort of practices to try and reduce that stress? Do you do any like breath work, or do you do any like meditation?
I used to love a beta blocker, but that's about it. I can't meditate really. Sometimes I like a bit of brown noise.
Yeah.
That's all I've got really. I like it, not an ad. I like a bit of rescue REM if I'm feeling anxious. I like doing a bit of that.
Do you feel like you switch off, like say if you take the dogs for a walk or something like that, does that give you that time to kind of just switch off and just mindlessly, you don't have to be still, you don't have to go internal, but you just kind of go a bit mindless where you're just walking and not really letting your mind wander or worry?
No, because I'm like, what if the dog gets hit by a car?
Okay.
Or what if we lose one of the dogs?
The dog's got his tits out on Oxford Street.
And then we've got to have CPR. Like, I'm constantly worried about what if there's a weird man in a bush naked?
There will be.
And there will be. So just constantly thinking about what if.
What are your days off in a week? Do you work 7 days a week? And I'm talking a day that you don't make any videos, you're not filming, you're not traveling, you're not on Loose Women, you're not in a jungle.
I think it depends because I can go from having no days off for months to like this week I've had like 3 days off.
Okay.
It's been lovely. I have had to film an ad here and there, but like it's a 30-second ad.
You filmed about 12 of them today.
But like when I did Radio 1,
she just slips them in, Nichola. Watch out.
But like when I was doing Radio 1, I was Monday to Friday doing that, and then I'd be working for the rest of the week, and then I'd be doing the weekend. So it was like endless pits of hell. But yeah, when I have a day off, it's great.
Well, what can we say? Because it seems like it hasn't affected you. You've got the lowest score possible, but on this schedule, Grace, would you come back at my age and still score a 20?
No, no way.
You could.
Maybe. I don't know.
You could.
So what do I need to do? Stress less?
Yeah, I think, you know, you mentioned earlier a little bit about preventative and, you know, more people your age are thinking about preventative measures. And I think that's so important because for any of our listeners in their 20s, you are the youngest guest that we've had, probably thinking, you know, this is not relevant to me. Like, I don't care. But the body does keep score, and things that you are doing now can then have a big impact in the future. And I would say that things that you do now are like easy wins.
Right.
So like in the future, it's harder to undo damage. Whereas now, because your body is so good already, it's so easy. Like, and it's not like you have to suddenly become a saint and stop having fun. It's like really like introducing really small things, like maybe for your diet, trying to eat a little bit more fruit or veg, maybe trying to get out for an extra walk or, you know, something like that.
And in your opinion, how much do you think I should be drinking healthily a week? Like, for someone that would live like a good amount, like how
past 35?
Yeah, past 35.
I mean, the current consensus is that alcohol is toxic,
right?
You know, and we know it is damaging to the body.
Brilliant.
There are lots of studies that would say 0 alcohol is the safest. There are other studies that will say there's a little bit of alcohol could be okay. We don't know whether it's because the alcohol is okay or it's just the fact that maybe the people that are having the alcohol are a bit more social, so are having those connections in the life and, you know, actually a bit, you know, that side of it, the social side. So
could we compromise and maybe meet in the middle? Like, are there better alcohols? Like, let's say there was an alcohol that looked like it was a Christmas bauble and it was full of sugar and probably E numbers and had 14%.
Yeah. But you always see those like old people and they're like 105 and they have a glass of sherry every night.
But it's not a BuzzBallz, is
it? Like maybe if you pickle yourself, you survive.
Wine is fermented.
Is it?
Could we switch Grace to a mezcal?
What's that?
It's like it's kind of like tequila. It's from a cactus.
Like it.
You know what I mean?
So it's like technically a vegetable.
Could you come out
technically a plant
with the GKBarry range of plant-based alcohol?
Right.
Maybe like with antioxidants from berries. Could we maybe #spawn this now?
Yeah. Maybe I should.
Could we beat the BuzzBallz?
Beat the BuzzBallz.
Because what do you think is more damaging, really, though, Nichola? Is high sugar or high alcohol?
Ooh,
because anytime I was your age and hungover, I think I was like sugar sick. I wasn't hungover.
Okay.
If I'd been mixing, or
I think we're exposed a lot more chronically to sugar, like the sugar in everything now, and that we know that, you know, sugar is constantly, if you're constantly having lots of sugar, you're getting these glucose spikes. The body's trying to deal with it because it doesn't like having a lot of sugar. That's damaging to our cells.
Diabetes.
Diabetes, metabolic disease. It's massively on the increase, and, you know, a key driver of aging.
I couldn't even do this for this show. Do you know what I mean? I couldn't do the pinprick for this. I'm not set out to have diabetes.
No.
Okay, fine. So maybe you're right though, because a hangover from a BuzzBallz is so much worse than a normal hangover, but maybe it's just all the sugar.
I think so.
Just straight vodka then, I reckon.
Any other questions for the doctor?
No, I think I'm very happy with that age.
The vibes are not giving anxiety. You know, you're a very peaceful person.
Quite zen
to be around. Yeah.
Do you think?
I think you're very pleasant always.
I needed that. Thank you. That's
Grace
lovely.
up, Grace down. I like them both. Brilliant stuff from GKBarry, our guest on What's My Age Again, Season 2. If you want to hear more from GK, you can watch her podcast, Saving Grace. Check out the episode I'm on. If you want to find out how old your body is, then you can get the test at a 25% discount with the code What's My Age Again 25. All the details are in our show notes and on our socials. So please follow and subscribe to the show wherever you listen or watch your podcasts. And be sure to check out our socials. Bye.